Hello everybody, and welcome to day 17 of Vlogmas. Today we're just doing a really festive wrapping video. I figured it is December 17th. It is about dang time I get started on some of this wrapping because heaven knows there's a lot of it to be done. And obviously we cannot wrap without a festive holiday drink. Now in the past I may have made myself a cute tasty holiday cocktail. But fun fact, I am actually realizing I either have a mild to moderate intolerance to alcohol or just a straight up allergy of some kind. And I think I've always had this. It's just in college, you kind of push through, it doesn't matter, or you're drinking so much that you assume any negative reaction you have is because of the amount of alcohol you had. But it turns out even when I only have like one drink, my body is not a fan. I don't necessarily get hung over. I get sick. Like I feel sick. So anyway, that's that. I am having hot cocoa instead. And now we are on to the wrapping process. And I thought something that might be helpful for you all is if I shared some of my best ADHD wrapping tips. So first and foremost, I highly recommend getting one of those like wrapping paper and wrapping supply bags that I showed myself grabbing at the beginning of this video. So helpful. It has pockets in the front where you can just leave like a pair of scissors and a roll of tape and a pen and just leave all that stuff in there. Now, did I do this last year? At the end of the wrapping season? Yes, I left scissors and tape and a pen in there. Could I find those things when I started wrapping today? No, I could not, which is why you saw me get up and leave several times at the beginning of this video as I was like, oh, I need tape. And then I sat back down. Oh, I need scissors. And I sat back down. So I couldn't find them. I do find them later on in this video. And I was like, yay, I did leave them here. I thought that I did. So anyway, just so you know, you can ADHD proof your ADHD as much as you want, and ADHD is still gonna do its thing. So, but that's tip number one. Get one of those bags. I just find it so helpful. It keeps stuff organized. It keeps like spider webs from getting inside your tubes of wrapping paper, you know? So I really like the bag. I think it's a good strategy. Strategy number two is another one that I'm not doing, and that is to set up like a wrapping table. This isn't necessarily to help accommodate your ADHD, but rather to help accommodate your aging back. I am not 21 anymore, and granted, I'm not that old either. I'm 29, but sitting on the ground like this and wrapping is fine for like an hour, which is what I did tonight. But, you know, if you're doing a marathon and you're doing like 2 or 3 hours of wrapping, you don't want to be hunched for that long. Like by the time I got to the end of this wrapping session for about an hour, I was ready to get up. I was ready to be off the ground, you know? So I think having like a table where you can sit and wrap, first of all, I think it'll help your back. But I suppose it could also help with the ADHD because you know, you can see your supplies a little better, whereas right now I'm on the floor like with a bunch of other stuff. And so that leads me to tip number 3, which again, I didn't do. And that is to clear your space before you start wrapping so that the only thing in that space is your wrapping supplies and the presents. Now, I kind of did this. I cleared the exact space I was going to be in, but I didn't clear the whole room. I think it would have been better if I had just taken the extra 10 minutes to clean up the whole room. But you live and you learn. So hopefully next time I will do that. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, here's all these ADHD tips, but she's literally saying she didn't even do them. So like, how am I supposed to be able to do them? That leads me to, what tip number are we on? 4, I think. That leads me to tip number 4, which is do whatever helps you actually get it done. Right? So I'm giving you all these tips, like use a table and make sure you're prepared and all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, the important thing is to get the gift wrapped, right? And so whatever that looks like, whatever form that takes, that's what you need to be doing. So if that means wrapping on the floor in the middle of a mess and having to get up 18 times for everything you've forgotten, yeah, is that the most ideal situation? No, probably not. But is that better than not wrapping anything, or, you know, wrapping it all at like 3 a.m. the night before Christmas, right? And granted, if that's your tradition, go for it. But if you're doing that in like a panicked haze, let's not do that to ourselves this holiday season, okay? So this is honestly my biggest ADHD, like quote unquote, hack ever for everything. And that is truly just do whatever it is you have to do to actually get the thing done. I think so many ADHDers, because we deal with so much like negative feedback and criticism from teachers, parents, coaches, etc., about our ADHD tendencies, we tend to obsess over doing things correctly, doing things the right way, and not getting in trouble, frankly. But I am here giving you a permission slip to do things your, you know, crazy ADHD way. It doesn't have to look neurotypical. It doesn't have to look organized. It doesn't have to look pretty. So there I am getting up yet again for yet another thing I have forgotten, I am sure. And I think this part is really funny. My sense of space also sucks. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or something else, but I tried to fit this giant sweater into this tiny bag and it, you know, didn't work even remotely. So then I had to switch to a different sweater for a different person to fit in the tiny bag. This is a part I almost took out. This is just me scrolling on my phone for a bit. I almost took this out because it's obviously not very visually stimulating, but I left it in because I think it's important as an ADHDer to have like buffer time when you do activities like this that aren't exactly the most exciting. So, you know, wrapping can be a little boring, especially because it's a little repetitive. So it's okay to take buffer time and just like scroll on your phone for a hot minute, which is exactly what you just saw me do there. So, all right, we are coming to the end of the video. Those are my hot tips for ADHD and wrapping presents. I really hope that they're helpful, and remember, whatever helps you get it done is the best strategy for you. I absolutely have more wrapping than this to do, so there will likely be another wrapping video here in Vlogmas before the end. So if you enjoy this kind of content, don't worry, there's gonna be more. And if there's any particular Vlogmas content that you want to see before we run out of time here, because we are down to the last like 8 days, which is so crazy. I can't believe like we're doing this together, you guys. So if you have anything you want to see in these last 8 days, just let me know in the comments and I will be sure to create that. So for now, happy holidays, guys.